You can hear me. Welcome to our launch live stream of Starship Flight 12, the first launch of Starship version 3. I hope you can hear me. You might notice that I am in a lovely house and I am not at Starbase, unfortunately, but I am here in lovely England, which is a quick little stopover on my way to Belgium, where I have to be tomorrow at a festival called Nerland, where I'm a keynote speaker at Nerland Festival in Belgium. So yeah, I am quite a ways away from you guys. So hopefully you can hear me. Let me know. Give me a 5x5 if you guys can hear me. So it looks like, yeah, good. Okay, awesome. I'm glad to see that you guys can hear me okay. This is it's a lot harder for us to do these streams when I'm remoting in, and I appreciate your patience for us to continue setting up. And unfortunately, we only have a team of one covering all of today's launch with Ryan as well. So everyone say hi to Spencer, who's running the show at Starbase at Rocket Ranch right now, which is really exciting. But the good news is we have a absolutely gorgeous Starship, the first Starship version 3 rocket on the launch pad as we speak. And and as I say this, we have another 30-minute push. Now, don't forget, guys, it's only a 90-minute launch window. So they have chewed through 2/3 of their launch opportunity before it's even done anything. So I hope that, okay, I'm not going to lie. I hope that it scrubs, and I hope that it scrubs beyond tomorrow, and that it scrubs and launches on Tuesday, because I can make it back to Texas by Tuesday. So for my sake, but for all of you watching and for all those that are live at Rocket Ranch as well, maybe we could pull up a little shot of Rocket Ranch at some point too. We are streaming from Rocket Ranch Outpost, which is only 4 miles away, along with folks there at Rocket Ranch. Really sad I couldn't be there. I was hoping this wouldn't conflict. Of course, Dodd's rule, Dodd's law is if I have something on my calendar, which I typically sincerely only have like 3 or 4 things on my calendar per year, because I hate putting things on my calendar for this exact reason. And of course, this one thing that's 6 months away, I missed this opportunity to be able to be out there with everyone and watching this absolutely gorgeous rocket on this brand new launch pad. So, yep, there's all the folks out there at Rocket Ranch. There's a crowd of people gathering, hoping for their sake that it makes it through today's countdown. Like I said, we are at team minus 1 hour and 33 minutes. We did have another 30-minute push, but like I said, they have a 90-minute launch window. So that goes from what would be 6:30 local. That's still saying PM Eastern time on the thing. Did I not fix that? It should be, what time is it there, Spencer? Oh, it says, hang on. It says, okay. Maybe it's with what you did. I can't take over. Somebody else is editing the graphic overlay, but it shows EDT for you guys, or at least on the screen right now. So that's supposed to be Central time. So yeah, so the launch window is supposed to be from 5:30 p.m. Eastern time until 7 o'clock. And now, yeah, that's it's like I said, we've pushed into that launch window. So for those of you that didn't see my newest video that just came out about how Starship version 3 changes compared to version 2, it is by far the biggest and most ambitious update to the Starship program. I mean, it is absolutely beyond almost recognizable compared to what we saw, a few years ago already. We've been 3 years into this program now of full stack flying, because we were first seeing these happen in or is it 2 years since Flight 1? Oh man, I'm losing track of time. No, that's 2023, right? Flight 1, 2023. We got 2 launches that year. Then 2024 is pretty busy. 2025 is pretty busy. Yeah, pretty unbelievable, honestly, just to see how much progress that has been made, how much beefier this new launch pad is. That's something that I'm really excited to see. When they did the static fire of version 3 and the booster, holy cow, the exhaust it goes up so high, and it just looks so incredible coming out of that new flame bucket. Absolutely love it. So yeah, I'm really, really excited for that. So let's see. Let's start answering some of your questions. Hopefully I preemptively answered a handful of your questions by making that video about Starship version 2, version 3. If for some reason it does end up scrubbing today and we don't see a launch, and you do want to learn all of the changes, because there's a lot of them, probably most notably, you can see from our camera right now, this is a great shot of this, is that you'll notice that you can see from this angle only 2 grid fins, and normally from this angle you'd see 3. You'd see the 2 sticking out the sides and the 1 facing us. But with this new version 3 rocket, they only put 3 grid fins on the vehicle in the first place. So pretty unique. They basically realized, hey, this rocket, when it's coming through reentry, the top grid fin, or the one that's one of them is in the wake of its own reentry profile. So the rocket's coming in. I would love to just take James's. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you're familiar with the YouTube channel Project Air. Those of you that are especially maybe RC aircraft and RC jet cars and RC anything enthusiasts, you may be familiar with James from Project Air. That's where I am. I'm in James's house. So he's been lucky enough. Come say hi. So everyone say hi to my friend James from Project Air.
Hello, everyone.
I don't know. I hope there's enough people that go, wait, what? so James, he's been. You understand the grid fin aspect that one of them is going to be flying through. I was going to take apart your Saturn V, but I thought with Legos we might.
Have permission. It's fine.
Anytime I pick one of those up, it explodes. But you have experience though, obviously, with a lot of aircraft and aerodynamics.
Yes.
And so
in model form.
But isn't it, what do you think of that? Did you know that they removed the one grid fin so that because it's flying in the wake, it basically has very little control authority? Did you know that's why they did that?
No, I didn't.
So you didn't watch my video.
I've been caught out.
Mm-hmm. I mean, granted,
I'll watch it after this.
he has been having to take care of me. He had to make sure I went karting.
Yep, went go karting this afternoon.
Karting. Yep. So we're sore from that. You probably just haven't had time. But yeah, see on our screen here, you can see you can only see 2 out of what should be 4. Normally you see 1 grid fin to the left, but now you see you can only see 2 from this vantage point. The third one's on the far side of this.
On the far side.
But then you pointed out when we were setting up here the trellis frame. What's it remind you of?
The N1 rocket, the Soviet rocket.
Yep.
The moon rocket from back in the 1960s.
Yep. And they also did, the Soviets and now Russia, a lot of their rockets do have this trellis frame. That is, even the Proton has this, the Soyuz has it. I love that style. I always think that is so, I don't know.
But it's just efficient, isn't it? Like it's such a, everyone knows triangles are strong. Put triangles on things. And everyone who plays Kerbal Space Program will know that struts are the answer.
Put those 2 together.
Yeah, perfect.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and you actually have a vehicle that you are putting together right now that I got a sneak peek of that has triangles lattice structure across the entire thing.
Yes.
Can you give us a sneak peek of what you're doing?
Yeah. Well, I'm basically trying to build. It's not a secret. I'm trying to build the biggest rubber band powered aeroplane in the world, and because that's one of the things I do on my channel.
Yeah, I'm wearing my Guinness World Record hoodie right now.
See that. Trying to get a new world record for that, but that's got lots of triangles on that aircraft because the whole thing's like a big balsa wood aeroplane and it needs to be quite lightweight. But we use triangles to make a kind of lightweight frame.
I love that.
Anyway, that's enough of my promotion.
Well, I want to say hi and or bye to James.
Yes.
And
bye. I'll be watching from the next room.
Amazing. Yes. Yeah. Thank you. So that's that's I think one of the most obvious things. But I think we should take a few of your guys' questions here. Let me know. Oh, I see a little thing here that I can do in a minute. But Spencer, I thank you for taking care of that. First off, we have Deanne Elder for becoming a member. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciate that. Are those working on air, Spencer? I don't know if those are. I'll keep answering and we'll see. It's the OBS overlay thing. Okay, I'll keep pushing some comments and cool. Sounds good. So this is from Stars Over Jersey. Hey Tim, how does it feel to have your idea of autogenous press on the ship after suggesting it to Elon? Any more insight on that since it happened? So just to be clear, I feel like I need to clarify this often, that I don't think people always understand what my question was, the intent of it was, what the result of it was, and what the overall impact it has on this vehicle, especially version 3 that we see here now. So the reality is they're using, it's not the autogenous pressurization. That was already kind of in play, I think, at least to eventually be in play for the vehicle. It was the fact that the vehicle has a large volume of gaseous methane and oxygen in each of the tank that we're talking about. So if you have a sealed volume and so this is this is water, there is liquid in it, and there's air gas in this. If we had something like methane, something that's cryogenic methane or liquid oxygen, you'd use gaseous methane or gaseous oxygen to keep the tanks pressurized. You need them to be pressurized, obviously for rigidity, but for other things. And as the propellant boils off, it expands. So you need to vent some of it out. Now there's a little bit of leeway there. You don't need to vent it out the exact moment, that it vents. You can let it, build up a little bit of pressure, but over that much volume, there's a huge amount of gaseous volume inside Starship. There's just never been a vehicle really like this, especially an upper stage that has that much given volume, especially near the end of burns. You actually end up with a huge amount of gaseous ullage pressure, right? And so the thought is, if we have to vent it anyway, why don't we make that be an RCS, a reaction control? Why don't we vent it in a way that allows us to maintain or control our attitude of Starship? And so that's what they decided to do. And initially it was just for the booster, because the booster, you think about it, it just did this big burn. It has all this gaseous propellant inside it now. And if you're just flipping the booster, then it's, really easy to just, here's our amount of propellant that's going to be vented anyway. The second the booster is done, there's a lot of gaseous, methane and oxygen that needs to be vented anyway. So that made sense. There's one main thing, and then you use a little bit of it on the rest of the way down. But the ship was not planning to do that. And I just simply asked, and the reason I asked, you might notice, but that's just for the booster, right? Is what I said when I was asking about it. And it's because to me, I didn't love that idea per se, because I couldn't imagine that you could have enough. I felt like that'd be a consumable that you'd run out of. So I can't picture how this made sense. I'm like, but that's just for the booster, because I was imagining you can't do that for the ship. You can't do that for the upper stage of the vehicle. And I don't think I understood just how much the fact that there's so much volume is what makes it. And it's relatively poor specific impulse, because you're just bleeding off gas. You're not reacting, methane and oxygen to get the chemical reaction out of it. You're not over pressurizing it in like a COPV where you're storing it at a very high pressure and you can bleed it out. So it is backwards from convention. Like the space shuttle, when it got into orbit, the majority of the vehicle is, there's no more propellant. The propellant gets dropped off. The gaseous propellant that got them onto ascent got dropped off with that orange tank. You got rid of all of that. Starship has to hold on to it already, so you might as well use what's there. And so that was my question. It's almost like, but you're not going to do that for the upper stage, right? And that got him thinking, and that turned into, well, why don't we look into that, basically? They ended up doing it, and now that they're on version 3, they have doubled the amount of thrusters to help maintain control attitude and provide, reaction control, attitude control. So, yeah, that's what we see there. I'm going to see if the new comment. There we go. Good work, Spencer. You fixed it. So again, thank you to Stars Over Jersey for asking that question. Yeah, that is a thing. That is a thing that they are now doing, and we're going to have to see that work out really, really well when they end up doing ship-to-ship docking. So get ready for that, because that will certainly be pretty crazy. So that won't be for a while. Just for a friendly reminder, this mission profile is very similar to what we've seen on anything flight 1 through 11. It's all a suborbital target. They're just barely missing out on orbit by a few hundred meters per second intentionally, so that they don't accidentally leave an untested vehicle in orbit. They don't get it into orbit and then go, we have a problem and we can't control this vehicle anymore. Now it's stuck in orbit, and it would end up eventually deorbiting uncontrolled, which means you could end up with accidentally having a Starship re-enter overpopulated areas. Not good. So to avoid that, they're intentionally targeting that. So also, by the way, guys, let's give Spencer another shout out. He's not only running the show, fixing stuff, doing things, he also just did that camera motion and everything too, all by himself. He is a one-man band today. We also have Ryan Shalinsky out there with Cosmic Perspective, who's going to be running one of the big telescope tracker cameras that you've all hopefully known and love. This is actually what it looks like through the tracker right now. It doesn't look good, that great from here for now, but that's mostly because of heat haze. So as the vehicle ascends, you're not looking through the thickest, most dense, nasty parts. This is Ryan's spotter. So this is what he sees when he's what he has for his other options. So if he loses it in the tight telephoto lens in basically the telescope, he looks to this to make sure that the rocket's centered on his vantage point, and then punch back over to his main tracker. You can see that it's basically right down the center of this screen. Boom. That's what he's looking at. So that will sharpen up once it gets above the ground. You get rid of the atmospheric distortion. So let's see here from Mr. Bebo. If you're not 5 minutes early or late, oh, trust me, we are working. This is the first time we've streamed not only from this location with Rocket Ranch Outpost there, only 4 miles, having all of our infrastructure there, but also having me remote in from England today just by happenstance. And then having a one-man band. There's no chance of us being early today, but thank you for all of your patience and for everyone who was watching. So who did decide to tune in. So USA Concerned Citizens, thank you for becoming a member. Kitty Donahue, 71 months. Kitty, good to hear from you. Hi, Tim. Excited for today's launch. Can't wait to see how version 3 does. So I want to know, maybe I'll do maybe I'll actually do a poll. How do you think it's going to go like this? Let's add a poll, and it's going to say, how do you think flight 12 will go? 100% success. Won't make it to re-entry, as in a problem like after Miko. Won't reach Miko, most engines cut off, and we'll do a won't get off the pad, which would be very, very bad. So there's a poll for you guys. Take it, let me know. I'm curious what you guys think. That's not the best way to poll this because I don't know. I'm just hoping. Here's my deals. I had pretty big hopes for version 2. I thought version 2 was like going to be a much more mature vehicle compared to version 1. And the first flight of version 2 was actually pretty disastrous. And so was flight 2 of the second flight of version 2 was pretty disastrous. So I'm trying not to be too optimistic again, since it is the very first launch of a brand new vehicle. However, it does feel like they slowed down a bit. It feels like they were taking their time to try to do things a little bit more traditionally right. You know what I mean by, I don't want to say doing things right, because I think that, I don't think they were necessarily doing things wrong. They were doing things in a very, the way they were doing things before was a very iterative way of like, let's gather data. What about a scrub poll? I think a scrub poll is probably more important. What were we gonna say, Spencer? Oh yeah, here's another view of some of the folks starting to gather there at Rocket Ranch Outpost. That's it's pretty crazy that they can be. If you cross that road, you are officially within the exclusion zone, so you cannot cross the road there. But as long as you're there where they are, you are safe, and you're as close as anyone in the public, unless you're working at SpaceX, can be. So pretty awesome. Let's see. Let's keep answering. Tuning in from Middle Earth. Oh, this is awesome from Jebediah Kerman. Thank you, Jeb, for always showing up and supporting. And greetings from Kerbal Space Center. I love to hear from Jeb. Jeb's been around for a long time with us. I got to meet him as well. It was awesome. Let's see here. We got a lot of people saying where they're from. Let's see. This is first time in person Starship launch for me. At the little wharf off Highway 48. That's got to be pretty great. It looks like now, especially with the views, it really does look like today actually could be a beautiful day to fly. Since they have pushed the clock twice, I feel like they're being pretty cautious. And, I almost feel like we had heard that they were likely scrubbing to launch on Friday instead of launching on Thursday. And when they were doing that, I think it was almost like, well, we kind of need another wet dress rehearsal. I'm starting to think they're pulling an Artemis 2, which was, hey, instead of doing a dedicated wet dress rehearsal, why don't we do a wet dress rehearsal? And if everything's looking good at the end of that wet dress rehearsal, instead of scrubbing and resetting for the next day, why don't we just go for it if it all looks good? So I don't have any inside information on if this is true, but that's what it feels like to me with all the rumors we're hearing of it likely flying on Friday. I have a feeling they're kind of like, well, we're going to do a wet dress rehearsal anyway. If it's looking good, we have the permits, we have they have everything set up for launch. Might as well, go for it if everything is looking good. So, let's do a scrub poll. I think that's a little bit even more chances. it launches today. So the opposite of scrub. Or I'm just gonna say, will it launch today? That's it. Yes and no. And that's, will it launch today? That's it. Nice and simple poll. Will it launch today? I don't need percentages and stuff. That just gets complicated. So yes or no. I'm curious what you guys think. I'm not going to tell you my thing until I see it populate for a hot minute. But once I see that we've kind of got most of the votes in, I unfortunately, okay, we've got 1,000 votes in. I'm actually a no. I just don't quite see. I don't know. I could go either way. The fact that they've already pushed it twice in this window kind of feels like it's not going to happen today. But yeah, so our time is correct. We have that clock is updating. So you'll see that it is still now showing a T0 of 6:30 p.m. Central Time. So our T minus clock there is correct. So if you're wondering, that is up to date and we're good to go there. Let's see here. This is there's a lot of questions here. Let's see, from Wim van Nertveld. Sorry, my friend. Oh man, Leslie. I am already struggling. He's going to pick you up from the airport tomorrow. Oh, to come to Nerdland. Yes, amazing. I've had just some incredible people talking that have been helping me out with the accommodations and helping to make sure I know where I'm going and everything. So can't wait. I'm really excited. I've driven through Belgium, never really spent any proper time there. So I'm really excited. If you happen to be free tomorrow and you're in kind of I would say, around Belgium area, especially, I know there's probably a lot of you in like Amsterdam or maybe even England. I know some people are coming over from England. It'll be fun. And then we're going to try and do a supporter meetup. So if you support the channel on Patreon or X or whatever, I will be posting a location Saturday for Saturday evening, probably something like 7 p.m. Like, that'd be 19 p.m. in near Ghent or in or near Ghent. We'll try to find a place to meet up. Still working on the logistics of that. We've had a lot going on. So if you're around and you're a supporter, pay attention because it'd be great to see you. I haven't done a meetup like that in a very long time. So last time, the only thing that would change that would be, no, I think I'd still fly out on Sunday, even if Starship does. Yeah, we'll make sure Saturday's available for a meetup. So plan on it. I haven't done something like that for a while, though. I did a meetup in like 2019 while I was over in Austria, and it was fantastic. And I met some amazing people, including Flo, who did a lot of work with us for a long time. And I miss Flo a lot. And that was the start of that whole entire relationship was just that. So very fun. Let's see here. Beckett. Oh, Beckett, how you doing, Beckett? Hey there, cannot wait. This is such an amazing flight. Can't wait to hear your coverage. Just started playing KSP this week. Thanks for what you do. You just started Kerbal Space Program for the first time? Oh, Beckett, you're in trouble. You are in deep trouble because it is the most addictive game. That is another to-do video for me, is I want to make a quick, this one probably won't be quick. Notice I actually did put out a quick video. I actually put out a quick video recently. But I want to make like a complete guide to how to play Kerbal. Just if you're opening it for the first time, give you all of the tips to set you up to be able to do like a moon mission. And I'll just run you through how I play the game, some of my little tips and tricks and secrets and key bindings that I really like to do. And yeah, I think that because Kerbal's having another heyday ever since Artemis 2, it is like extremely popular. Yeah. By the way, just to answer some questions about Starship before if you happen to notice a lot of the venting, the clouds coming off of the launch pad at this time, that is on purpose. That is supposed to be happening. That is how they are chilling and preparing that is how they chill in the propellants and get them ready to be able to load into the vehicle. So right now there are no propellants loaded up on the vehicle yet, but they are. This is the spool up here and all the venting and the chillers means that they're getting ready to load the propellant onto the vehicle. So that is fantastic. I do like that we're moving towards that. Let's see here. I'm going to do a little housekeeping thing here real quick. And I'm going to make sure that I can do this with you guys. Oh, this is That is trippy. Here we go. Okay, Spencer, I did accept that link, so now we're able to do the things and stuff. Thank you for allowing me a little housekeeping. All right, from Beta Logic, welcome to England. Thank you. It's been fantastic. I've never made it outside of London, and I've only seen a couple days worth of London, like 2 days in total, over 2 long layovers is all. So to actually get out and see beyond London's been great. Really enjoyed it, and it's been a fun little stopover on my way to Belgium. Makes it for a fun, that. And my big fear is I moved my flights up because I was nervous they were originally targeting like the 19th, and I did not want to be in the air on the 19th in case, what if I'm on a plane? Like I would not even, this isn't as ideal as me being there, but what's even by far less ideal than having a comfortable place to stream from like this would be trying to stream from an airplane. And I'm not going to do that out of the politeness for the other passengers. So I moved it all up, and then it turns out I probably would have been okay to just go straight to Belgium. But you know what's better than that is spending time with friends. So and actually finally getting to see more of England. From Michael Busby, it would be wild if SpaceX sent you compensation for your contribution to the integration of warm OLED thrusters to Starship. What amount in US dollars seems fair to you? No, that's just not how that works. So I don't know. And maybe it's a mistake. Maybe I cost him hundreds of millions of dollars. So I would prefer to not have any like credit for any of that, because it was just sincerely a question. But that being said, someday I actually think I would love to start doing consulting for companies working on anything kind of engineering, production-y, kind of, nerdy, sciencey things, because I really do love mechanical things and systems, and I love wrapping my head around it and trying to figure out how it works. And it has happened on multiple occasions now that when I'm asking questions, that actually sparks something. So I'm not saying that you hire me to come ask you questions, but maybe hire me to ask you questions. It might be great. It might be terrible. It might be great. This is from Bo Anderson. Hello from Denmark. Looking forward to your wise words about today's exciting launch. Are today's exciting launch fingers crossed or uncrossed, depending on if you want this to scrub or not. But Ryan Heckman. Hey, Tim, did you see the CSI Starbus vid or learn from other sources, if there is another, on how they are pressurizing the water deluge system on the new pad? I knew about it, but I haven't been able to see his part 3 of his Launchpad. I've been too busy. But that is on my queue. I will download it for my flight tomorrow. But yeah, Zach's videos are always awesome, and I'm excited to learn how exactly they pressurize. I know they basically built like a gas generator, like almost like a mini Raptor engine that just pressurizes the water deluge, which is really cool. I love that. Major question here. This is major question from Majort3514. This is probably one of the biggest questions that you could ask about this particular launch. They are not catching the booster on Flight 12. Since this is a brand new vehicle, unproven, a lot of new things that are being tested for the first time, where the grid fins are at in location, how the hot staging ring stays attached now. We have a different center of mass, center of pressure. We have different engines that have to relight for the first time using a new ignition system. A lot of new things on this booster. They don't want that coming back down to the launch pad as a ballistic, like as a ballistic missile, basically. So that being said, they are not going to be attempting a catch today. They also would not, I don't know if they'll do a catch even on the next one. On Flight 13, I'm not sure if they'll go for a catch either, because they'll likely want to do something similar to what they did, on the other version 1, version 2s, which is, simulate like a more steep reentry profile, simulate some engine out stuff, simulate some kind of backup systems, so that if something's off nominal during their first landing attempt, again, they aren't risking it with their brand new beautiful launch pad. That is a massive upgrade. So I think they'd rather just just practice those two things, get 2 of them out of the way. They have a huge factory able to crank these things out, much faster than anything we've seen before. So even if a booster takes them another month or 2 to build, it's worth it in the long run to not grenade your launch pad that took you 1.5 years to build, right? It's that risk. So, yeah. From Mr. Zenny, Tim, are you on location? Like, will you be watching it live outside? No, I could probably step outside here in England, and I just don't think I'm going to see much from here, sadly. In fact, it'd be physically impossible. The vehicle's never getting that high up. So, wait, what view is this? I didn't realize we had something still at quote unquote danger lot. Oh. That's cool. Is that different? Is that Mr. T? Or is that like just a little standalone situation? Hmm. That's cool. Cool. All right. Starlink providing that view. That's fun. I didn't know we had that. Hey Andrew, now I have two people available in my ears. This is Matthew Cuppets, Josh's dad here. How's your flight training going? Hey, no way, my flight instructor, Josh. I've heard that yeah, you're Josh's dad who's helping me with Josh, who's my flight instructor, has got me across my 40-hour line now. But yeah, Josh, when we first met, I was telling him what I do, and then he came back the next. He goes, "Hey, by the way, my dad." I asked my dad, "Who's that YouTuber that talks about space?" He goes, "Oh, Everyday Astronaut," and he's like, "Oh, I'm actually teaching him." So, hello, nice to meet you, Matthew, and thank you for raising a competent son who's actually a wonderful flight instructor. So, we've had a really good time. I've been working on trying to get my solo going again. So I first soloed in 2010. Got I think 3 or 4 hours of solo in, and then I basically stopped flying for like 15. Well, I started flying again probably 2 or 3 years ago, getting a few hours in, but now I'm like trying to get back at it. So Josh has been great, and hopefully I can actually get back to soloing and finish up everything else and get out there. So yeah, T-minus 1 hour, 4 minutes, guys. We haven't seen another push yet. I'm trying to keep my eyes peeled in case we do see another push. But so far, it seems to be tracking to that 1 hour, to that basically 6:30 p.m. local time, so Central Time. We will see. Like I said, they have until 7 to try to get this thing off the ground. So how much does it cost to launch this thing? That is an unknown number. We don't have published numbers on really anything, but likely the hardware for now still is by far the most expensive, especially when you're throwing away hardware like this. We're talking hundreds of millions of dollars likely. It's probably, I would guess at least 100 million, 200 million worth of hardware. So we don't have those exact numbers at all, but imagine how many, hundreds or thousands of hours with technicians working on it, with hardware costs, with Raptor engine costs, with a lot of stuff like that. So I don't know. Andrew, are you trying to say something in my ear? I heard you for a second. Okay. So, okay, cool. Thank you. So the cost we don't know, but once in theory, so obviously we've seen a booster refly. We know they can catch a booster. We know they can reuse a booster. Once they can reuse boosters frequently and normally, and they can eventually catch upper stage and reuse that. In theory, if these things are coming back, in one piece with minimal refurbishment necessary, then there's a chance that the main cost will be the propellant inside. And there's likely only, I don't have the cost of propellant. No one publicly really has. I mean, you could probably make a pretty decent estimate, but I don't know. It might be somewhere between, I'm making up numbers here, $500,000 to $2 million. I really have no idea, to be honest. That's my estimate of range, somewhere between those. But so we don't really know the true cost, but I would say right now they're in the hundreds of millions per launch. And eventually they're trying to get that thing down to a couple $1 million per launch. So we will see how that goes. That's the ambition. That is what the hope is. And that's what the overall target for this vehicle is as well. Let's see. Is there anything to suggest they won't launch today? I think the main thing to suggest is just the fact that they pushed the clock. Now they poll for go, no go. I should probably put this up here. I'll put this up on my screen so you guys can see this. Give me 1 second, please. This is the countdown clock here. These are all approximate times. But if you guys, I don't know, Spencer, let me know if you have this up on the screen. I now can't see my dashboard thing. Okay. Cool. Thank you. So countdown here. So they poll the flight director at T-minus 50 minutes. So we're not even there yet. Once we get within an hour and close to 50, if we see the clock move, then that's not a good thing. If we see the clock not move at T-minus 50 minutes, that likely means they're proceeding. And they'll start loading oxygen here at about T-minus 38 minutes and 53 seconds. And that's for the ship. The booster starts getting it at 35 minutes is all. They fill that entire ship's locks in 35 minutes, and the methane in 34 minutes and 43 seconds. That is unbelievable speed for a vehicle this size. I mean, to appreciate, the fact that this is basically filling up the entire vehicle, which is like something like, I don't know, 8 or 9 times the amount of propellant as a Falcon 9, faster than they fill a Falcon 9. It's just absolutely absurd. Absolutely absurd. So yeah, booster. So those are the main milestones. Like I said, once we get to this T-minus 50 minute, that's kind of going to be when we have a better sense if they're going to be launching today or not. So yeah, we'll check back in on this timeline here in a little bit. But for now, actually, while we're at it here, I did see one comment that yes, we do have I think it's 10% off today if you use coupon code Starship 12, all uppercase, Starship 12. We'll get you 12% off of our Translunar Coast collection, which you maybe saw me wearing. Our slow roll towing shirt that I wore on the newest video. And we finally have our Methalox hoodies back in stock, by the way, for the first time in like 6 months. We have the Artemis X-Core hat that I'm wearing. Lots of stuff. everydayastronaut.com/shop. And then we have a few things for sale. I think we also have our heat shield stuff is for sale too. So 10% off of any heat shield, like our color changing mug is also 10% off. And yeah, you can get this at everydayastronaut.com/shop. Help support the channel, get something fun for yourself, and that is Starship 12, all uppercase, all one word for the coupon code. And that will get you 10% off. So thank you guys. Thank you for supporting, and thank you for yeah. And by the way, we also have new children's wear. You guys have been asking for kids apparel forever. We have brand new kids wear. So this is available for pre-order. We have the other pre-orders shipped, but meanwhile, we do finally have like toddler tees, youth tees of some of your favorite shirts now available in the shop. So yeah, I can't wait to see. I love seeing these on kids. I just think it's super fun to see. So yeah, that's enough for now. Let's go back to looking at and talking and answering questions about Starship. Spencer, go ahead and give me a clear when that's off so I can look at my multi-screen. I haven't looked. Okay, thank you. My multi-screen would have looked really funny, like window and window just. Okay, so how will the new satellite cameras see the heat shield when the PEZ door is on the other side? That's a very good question. So I've been thinking about this. Okay, so let me do a little demonstration for you. This is Starship. The PEZ dispenser, the door that opens up and releases, they're going to release 20 Starlink dummy satellites on Flight 12. And those basically come out of a door like this. It just kind of slides out this way. Now, the problem is, or the reality is, maybe it's not a problem, it's just the reality is that door is on the leeward side of the ship as opposed to the windward side. So the windward side is the side with all the black heat shield tiles. You can kind of see the door. Yep, we're seeing it kind of right there near the top of the ship. The door is on the opposite side. So the last two, I think it's the Starship Dummy 19 and 20, have some kind of thruster maneuvering system and cameras on it. And what I think they're going to do is they're going to get them out there, park them near the ship, get them to slow down because initially they're going to eject from the ship. They'll have if they didn't do any other reaction, they'll continue to drift away from the ship until they both re-enter. Because don't forget, even the Starlinks that they're deploying are also on a suborbital trajectory. Since the whole ship is in a suborbital trajectory, you eject those, they're still on a suborbital trajectory. They're going to enter very nearby the ship. But what I think they're going to do is they're going to eject. I think they're going to fire up some kind of little cold gas thruster or something to maintain attitude. I think then the ship's going to have to roll 180 degrees. I don't know what kind of proximity operations they're going to do with the Starlink. if it's get closer and come up and inspect the tiles, or if they're just going to do like, pan and tilt with some kind of camera from a little bit of a ways. Regardless, that's going to be one of the coolest things, because when have we actually had something like that? I think the closest thing would be like the space shuttle when they were, operating near like the ISS. You had these really cool, videos of the two vehicles docking. But you also, when the space shuttle had its bay door open, they were working on things in space, and kind of got that perspective looking down. And maybe when you had the, the IMU suit flying around, I don't know. Like, I feel like there hasn't really hardly been anything like this besides the early Gemini program, when two vehicles, dock and got near each other in rendezvous. So I'm really looking forward to that. Let's answer this one from Launch Stack app. Big bug fan. Well, maybe big fan, but also bug fan. Tim Dowd, thanks for the inspiration. Well, thank you so much, Launch Stack app. That's a huge, massive, and generous donation. So thank you so much for that. I really, really appreciate it. Everyone say thank you to Launchstack, because that is very nice. Quick shout out here too. I see two of my friends right there at Rocket Ranch. You have Andrew McCarthy, who you've likely seen some of his incredible photos and videos of things like just the other day posted this amazing shot of a airliner transiting through the sun. He had amazing photos with Artemis, and worked with Reed Wiseman on some of the far side of the moon photos. Amazing photographer as well. And then our friend Max Evans in the orange next to him is out there too, who you might have noticed the thumbnail from my latest video about Starship versus 2 and 3. He had the incredible engine shots of both of those. So I paid him some money to use those for a thumbnail, because they were just chef's kiss. So huge shout out to Max as well. So Max works with NSF, and Andrew works for himself. And both of them are really cool guys that I enjoy spending time with. And I'm a little sad that I'm not there to hang out with everybody right now, but it'll be fun. And that view is going to be fantastic when that rocket launches. I feel like now this vantage point with the new pad is so much better, because you'll notice that pad 1 on the right there, the tower and the launch pad, the launch tower was almost between you and the rocket. So the launch tower kind of blocked the view of the rocket on liftoff for pad 1 from this side of things. But pad 2 now, big upgrade, big fan of that. The fact that the tower is now completely perpendicular to the rocket makes for an amazing view. And then the fact also that the plume goes left and right from this vantage point that we're seeing really makes for a straight line shot. If you happen to be due north of the pad, or kind of due south, that plume is going, so like from this view even, the plume will likely block the rocket big time from here. It's going to kind of come up a little bit to the right of the tower is the exhaust, and then behind the rocket a little bit off to the left. So it will likely totally block the view. You can see the flame trench from this shot here, that the flame bucket goes out in both ways. From the left, you can kind of see the pyramid, the triangle looking thing near the base of the vehicle. You can kind of see a little bit of the dark spot right down there at the base. That's where the exhaust comes out when this thing lights its engines, and it just produces a huge, oh, there we go. Perfect. It just produces such a massive cloud of exhaust that it goes like 2 or 3, like 2 times the height of the rocket. So like I said, from the vantage point from the rocket ranch and from west of the rocket, really going to be fantastic views. And that's really cool. I can't wait to see it myself. It'll be really, really fun. So let's see. Yep. So I did want to point out, our clock hasn't moved. We haven't seen any changes yet to that. We haven't heard anything from SpaceX yet. So as far as we're concerned, we're still tracking T-minus 52 minutes. Like I said, at T-minus 50 minutes, that will likely be when they're holding an internal go, no-go poll with the launch director. So assuming the clock stays, then that's good, but we will see. We are not scrubbed. We have not heard any news of scrubs. They moved it back into the 90-minute launch window for reasons unknown. But so far, what did they say? No, they just said they didn't say why with SpaceX. They just said that we're targeting a certain T0. But yep. They didn't give a reason, which likely means they're just working on, tweaks of the propellant or the load-in or something. I did want to notice the tower, and point out the tower is venting. So see that huge cloud venting from the left-hand side of the tower, right at the upper stage quick disconnect arm. That is a good sign. That means that they are. I wonder how long that's been running. I haven't even been noticing. It's probably been running for a long, long time. Oh no, not that long. It only started up within the last basically 5 minutes or so. But that means that they're chilling those lines leading up to filling up the upper stage. So, you have these propellant lines. They're literally just pipes. And those pipes will have latent heat because they're sitting out there in the Texas heat. They eventually reach basically ambient temperature. They'll be roughly the temperature of Texas, so something like 80 degrees or I don't know, like 25-ish degrees Celsius. And in order to cool those, if you just started flowing your liquid oxygen and liquid methane through there, most of it wouldn't even get to the rocket. You'd end up just boiling it all off, right? You just end up wasting your propellant. It would touch the walls and it would boil off, and you'd have to vent it, and you wouldn't even fill up your rocket. So what they do is they preload it with nitrogen, and nitrogen is very cold, it's very cheap, it's very dense. You load it up, you let the nitrogen vent out like this, and you cool those lines down. So they're physically preconditioning the lines to be able to be filled up with these cryogenic propellants. SpaceX tweet, is that true? Is that true? Is that true? Starship team is go for prop load. So it's on. They are go for prop load. Right, like we said, at T-minus 50 seconds or 50 minutes, we found out. And so the next milestone will be they'll start prop loading the ship basically at T-minus 40 minutes. So that's why you're seeing this cloud emit from the tower, because that's exactly what they're doing. They're getting ready to load the ship with propellant. So this is great news. I like what we're seeing. And I'm excited that it seems like we're actually potentially going to see a launch today. The first, version 3 of Starship on the first launch of the brand new Pad 2, which is a massive upgrade compared to Pad 1. This is a bigger, better, stronger, faster, hopefully better, like I said, hopefully better vehicle. Let me go back to answering questions. It's been a while and I've been rambling a lot, but this is good news. So, let's see here. Which block will they add windows to the ship? Probably not for a while. They have a lot of work to figure out first. So you have to get this thing flying. From Levin Shear, just became a member. Thank you so much. Fender 90, I'm going to travel to Starbase for the next launch. I want to do some tracking shots using my 8-inch Celestron telescope and computerized mount. Do you think it'd be good enough? Manual tracking. We manually track as well. If you're just using the standard Star Tracker controller, that's a horrible way to track because it basically is like an on-off switch. So you do need to kind of hack it to be able to take inputs or direct drive the motor some other way. It's definitely, an 8-inch scope is plenty, but to really be able to smooth out and have smooth movement, you have to do something besides just using like the Star Tracker controller thing, because that will not be an option. Let's see. Is Rocket Ranch closer than the Jetties? Yes, it's 4 miles versus 5. So basically 6 miles versus 6 kilometers versus 8 kilometers, more or less. It's a nice, close vantage point. What's the likelihood? Ravenhawk 3603. What's the likelihood SpaceX shifts focus to nuclear-powered shuttle for interplanetary travel once V4 is operational? Any estimates on how much such a dual approach would lower costs of the lunar surface? Great question, Ravenhawk. Thank you so much for that extremely generous donation. Thank you. So I don't know. The nuclear thing gets a little bit tricky because you definitely deal with a lot more red tape to be able to work with nuclear propellants, since it's so closely tied to weapons. It's extremely controlled. I have not heard any news of SpaceX wanting to work with nuclear propulsion. At the end of the day, yeah, you could probably have a nuclear tug, and you could, with the cool thing with a thermal nuclear reactor like that, if you did a nuclear, like a NERVA drive, the reactor part can last a long time, but you still have the consumable of hydrogen that you're throwing out. So if SpaceX wanted to get in the game of a hydrogen depot, you could have like a cislunar depot powered by nuclear energy that would be extremely efficient. So that's great. Good news is SpaceX is live, so we will be bringing them in live as well, because I also want to be listening in. I don't know if they're hosting quite yet, but we will get them up here in a minute when they are hosting, so you can stick around here with us, and we will provide that feed as well, because I like to listen in too. I like to hear all of the news. I like to hear all of the expertise things that they're talking about, and they're the ones operating the rocket. So of course I want to tune in. So we will have that as well. Tim P says, how long are you in Belgium? Got time to visit space companies in the region? I don't know. It depends. It kind of depends on this rocket. If this thing launches today or tomorrow, then I might have a little bit of extra time. If it doesn't, then I will be heading home to try to catch it on Tuesday's launch time, because they will not launch over the weekend or on Monday because it is a holiday weekend. But yeah. Tech Social World, I am not too optimistic they'll get this up and running or HLS ready to go for 2028. You know, I'm like, I go back and forth. I juggle back and forth between optimistic and pessimistic, and you know, I just don't know. I have no idea what to think. You know, we've definitely seen some teething pains. We've definitely seen some pain with previous launches. We've seen like some successes, like Flight 5 landing the booster, incredible. Flight 10 and 11 were actually huge successes. They hit all their milestones. I don't think people realize that those were successful test flights. They pushed the ship really hard. They deployed dummy payloads. They did all the things they wanted to do. So yeah, I don't know. I'm somewhere between optimistic and pessimistic. I don't know. It's crazy. So let's see, from Battlestar Group, what are the chances SpaceX uses Super Heavy booster in a similar manner as Falcon Heavy by strapping? Nope, they will not strap and do a heavy configuration. They learned their lesson that was actually a lot harder than just making it bigger. So nowadays, I think if they have a lot of room to grow a lot taller once they increase the thrust levels of Raptor. And after they do that, then the next option would be to make it a bigger diameter, either 12 meters or 15 meter diameter, and then just increase rings of Raptor engines. And that is the way they would prefer to scale it rather than trying to do a tri-core configuration. They learned that was a lot harder than just making a bigger rocket. So we're going to be able to pull up SpaceX here in a second. We'll probably put us side by side, our shot side by side here in a second. Once they're actually live, they kind of just have a compilation going right now. So stand by for that. But once they're talking, we'll probably bring them in here, and we'll be listening in. So stand by for that when that occurs. Let's see here. If we do have them, I don't hear them talking yet, Spencer. I don't know if that's not in my IFB yet or not.
And today we're coming to you live from just outside the production floor at Star Factory, where the team's preparing for Starship's 12th test flight.
Yeah, it's been a few months since our last update, and in that time, the team has been working hard to completely redesign the entire rocket that you see there from the ground up.
Yeah, that's right, Kate. Starship version 3 has undergone significant upgrades, taking everything we've learned from the previous 11 flights to make a vehicle capable of full and rapid reusability.
This includes everything from a new booster, new ship, new engines, to a new launch pad, new avionics, new software, and so much more. All of that hardware is just down the road at Pad 2, a little over 1.5 miles away from Jake and myself. And in our viewing area outside on the lawn, Starbase employees are excited and already starting to gather to watch today's flight.
Yeah, and right behind us are 3 generations of Raptor engines, and today will be the first flight of the newest generation, Raptor V3. And the 33 Raptors on Super Heavy booster combined to generate 18 million pounds of thrust. You can see them all there.
Incredible.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. And it makes Starship by far the most powerful rocket of all time. And for comparison, we have over twice the thrust of the Saturn V rocket that carried astronauts to the moon. And then here, of course, you can see on ship, we have another 6 engines, and 3 of them feature the larger vacuum-optimized nozzles called RVACs. And as a member of the Raptor team, I can tell you that we're all incredibly excited to put V3 to the test today and demonstrate the capabilities of our most advanced engine. And we'll get into all the exciting new details in just a few moments.
Yeah, that excitement is well warranted, Jake. Raptor and Starship V3 are designed to be foundational for the future of the program. They're designed to enable us to send payloads and eventually people all the way to the moon and Mars, ultimately helping us make life multiplanetary and extending the light of consciousness to the stars.
Yeah, and in the meantime, we're planning to put Starship to work shortly by launching bigger and more powerful Starlink version 3 satellites. These new satellites aim to substantially increase capacity in orbit, strengthen the network, and deliver an improved experience for customers on Earth. Starship will also carry our upcoming V2 Starlink mobile satellites, which are expected to provide direct 5G connectivity from space straight to mobile phones worldwide.
Now, as a reminder for all of you watching at home, what we're doing today is a test. Like we mentioned earlier, we've redesigned the majority of this rocket and its systems. From the outside, for those of you that have tuned in before, it might look pretty familiar, but beneath the surface, it's all new. And the primary objective today is to put it all together in a real, live flight environment. In order to learn, we got to launch.
Yeah, and really it's the data we're expecting to get back from today's flight that's going to bring us closer to making Starship operational and unlocking the next generation of our future in space. So no matter the outcome of today's test flight, excitement is guaranteed.
Most definitely. And speaking of excitement, Dan Hewitt is in a pretty exciting place. He's stationed just outside of the Launch Control Center, a couple floors above us. How's it going up there, Dan?
Kate, it couldn't be going better. We have a blue sky outside. I'm beyond psyched. Hello, everybody. I'm Dan Hewitt with SpaceX Communications.
Uh-oh. I don't know if that's the X feed that just dropped or what's going on there. Give us 1 second. We will refresh that and see what happened. Yeah, that happens. That happens. Let's see here. Meanwhile,
It's been far too long. Welcome back for another Starship launch. Things are looking good. We are counting down. We moved into our window a little bit, but we are looking good right now at this moment. Behind me, you see the flight control team, the on console, looking at the rocket, the pad, the range, the weather, everything as we count down to liftoff. We're going to be getting into prop load in just a couple of minutes, and we are counting down to a liftoff at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. The weather is great. We haven't had a blue sky all day. There you can see almost nothing but that. We were fighting some upper level winds a little bit earlier.
Also,
that's why we moved into
really
our launch window.
importantly.
But the great news is we are looking go for launch. Also, we're monitoring the range, so air and sea space out in the Gulf and also in the Indian Ocean on the other side of the world, not tracking any issues there. Now, today's countdown functionally going to look pretty similar to most people. There's a couple of differences in timing for some of those major milestones, like when we start loading propellant, when the diverter turns on and the water's flowing, when the engines start up. But otherwise, other than that, all of the hardware brand new. New booster, new ship, new engines, new pad. Let's nerd out. Let's dive right into it. So there it is on the pad. Say hello to Starship version 3. As Kate noted, some of the outside might look familiar, but we've made extensive upgrades across every single system. Start with the big picture, because Starship still very, very big. Just over 407 feet tall, fully stacked, a little bit taller than version 2. With that extra stretch, we can carry even more propellant, but big rocket. The bottom half is our super heavy booster, and there are some pretty visible structural changes on the outside. We'll jump in. You've got version 3 on the left there, version 2 on the right. At the very top, we've changed from a one-time use hot stage adapter that used to pop off to one that's fully integrated for reusability. And Starship's Raptors are actually going to be igniting directly on top of the booster's fuel tank. The fuel tank pressure itself and then a non-structural layer of steel, it's what's protecting the top of that booster when we do hot stage separation. Moving down a little bit, we went from 4 grid fins to 3. We made them 50% bigger and higher strength. Just a reminder, that's what booster is using to kind of steer itself as it's flying back for a catch. We're also now going to use those grid fins for lift and catch itself. We zoom in a little bit and you can see new catch points now on those grid fin structures. Moving inside the rocket, we redesigned the fuel transfer tube. This is the really big tube inside the rocket that's moving all of that liquid methane down to the Super Heavy's 33 Raptor engines. It's going to help us flip faster, and we can now start up all of the engines simultaneously. This thing is big. It's about the size of a Falcon 9 first stage, which gives us the fun realization that we kind of put a rocket inside of our rocket. The very bottom of the booster looks very different. You've got those new Raptor 3 engines that enabled us to delete the bulky heat shields, the engine shrouds that we had on the previous generation. And then all of the propulsion, avionics hardware for those engines are super tightly integrated now and protected by much slimmer shielding. Move on up, second stage. This version of Starship is designed to carry massive orbital payloads. We're talking up to 100 metric tons to Earth orbit, the Moon, and Mars. The biggest changes are pretty much all under the hood. We gave the propulsion system a clean sheet redesign, increased the propellant tank volume, and improved our reaction control system, our steering while we're on orbit. When we X-ray inside, the PEZ dispenser is now supercharged, a little bit of turbo, and that's going to allow us to increase the deploy speed for each of those satellites. Today, we're actually flying the heaviest payload we've ever carried on Starship, but eventually we're going to launch with up to 60 of those Starlink V3 satellites. Just below that, just below the payload bay and also down on the aft part of the ship, we've added new docking ports. That's going to enable us to link up in orbit between two starships, do propellant transfer. We also modified that main connection point where we load propellants into the vehicle for those future prop transfer missions. So a lot of upgrades tip to tail on the rocket, but powering everything, the Raptor 3. There they are, ripping in real time. These engines manufactured in Hawthorne, California, tested at our site up in McGregor. We redesigned their entire ignition system. We bumped up the thrust, so putting out more force, went from 230 to 250 tons force on those sea-level engines, 258 all the way up to 275 on the vacuum-optimized ones. When you look at all of the generations of Raptor lined up, all of those fiddly bits, the sensors, feed lines, controllers, everything that you were used to seeing around Raptor 1 and 2, a lot of those have either been deleted, best part is no port, or they're internally integrated and protected inside of the engine itself. That'll let us dramatically cut down on the weight of the engine, make it easier to manufacture because we are going to be mass producing these things. Now, we make these Raptors in Hawthorne. There's our Hawthorne manufacturing team getting ready to see their engines fly in space for the very first time. Huge shout out to you guys. You're all wizards. Appreciate you getting us some vehicles on the pad today. But incredible amount of effort. World's best engineering team works here at SpaceX. Get this rocket to that pad ready to launch. And we've been trying to follow more of it and document some of it. And if you haven't seen it, check out our new docu-series, Starship.
Yeah, shout out to that docu-series. That is already available. I think we're avoiding some copyright strikes here for a second. So yeah, this is we have official news that propellant load is underway. You'll notice that the tower vent has stopped now, so you can actually tell that they are getting ready to load propellant, and they are beginning to load propellant already on the ship. So that is fantastic news. I'm shocked, honestly. I did not quite imagine that they'd actually truly go for launch today, but it is looking like it is moving towards a launch today. So we'll have to see. I mean, we only have 30 minutes to wait, and in total, they have again 1 full hour from now, basically, in their launch window. So we will see if that becomes an option or not. So even if in the 30 minutes, if something happens at T0 and they need to reset, they do have some wiggle room. They don't have infinite time, because once the vehicle is fully prop loaded and it is fully ready to go, it does boil off. So they need to keep topping it off, and they do have finite amount of commodities to be able to continue topping it off and keeping it a state ready to launch. So they can't hold forever. But let's tune in and listen again here.
Behind the curtains.
Yeah, the full thing is 25 minutes long, and I think I've watched it 4 or 5 times already. That's how good it is.
Same.
But yeah, so just as the team has been working hard on a brand new rocket, we've also redesigned the ground systems. The brand new Pad 2 that you can see on your screen here is making its big debut today.
We took everything we learned from operating on Pad 1 to create this totally new Launchpad. Pad 2 is optimized for full and rapid reusability. We've upgraded our propellant farm with much more storage and more pumps to enable super fast filling for launch and relaunch. On the tower, we changed to shorter chopsticks, which enable even faster motion to better track vehicles flying in for catch.
Yeah, we also changed the actuators driving those chopsticks from hydraulics to 100% electromechanical, increasing their speed, redundancy, and reliability. On the ground, the launch mount was completely redesigned, and if I had to describe it in one word, I'd say it's robust. With the extensive concrete and steel cladding, it almost feels like you're looking at a battleship, not a launch pad. But it's also smarter. We've separated the fuel and aux systems into different compartments and repositioned the booster quick disconnects to be out of the vehicle's plume during liftoff.
Yeah, and perhaps the most obvious change, we've now got a bi-directional flame diverter. We said goodbye to the pancake, and a new top deck flame deflector to eliminate metal wearing down, which will help us get to zero refurbishment between launches. In fact, that new flame trench and the new chopsticks are featured here on our new Pad 2 launch shirts. This launch pad is built for maximum safety and fast turnaround because making life multiplanetary will require launching a lot of Starships. And as the countdown continues, let's change gears for a moment and head over to Tyler Lionquist in Hawthorne to talk about Starlink. How's it going over there, Tyler?
Hey, Kate, and thank you. We're back in Hawthorne, and we have a crowd forming outside of Mission Control ready to see some Starships fly today. And like Jake mentioned earlier, on today's flight, we're deploying 20 Starlink simulators, plus 2 modified Starlink satellites, which our team internally refers to as Dodger Dogs, because we stretch that V2 mini satellite propellant tank so that it sticks out from both ends of the satellite. You can see it right there. It is just missing some mustard and onions. So the Dodger Dog serves as a tech demo between the V2 and the V3 Starlink satellites, and will act as a platform for testing those V3 components. So the larger V3 satellites aim to greatly expand the network's capacity, while V3 hardware is designed to support faster Wi-Fi and improved broadband speeds to customers while providing a significant capacity upgrade from the V2 Mini. And in addition to delivering future V3 satellites to the Starlink network, we believe Starship will enable us to launch our AI satellites. As you may have seen during the TerraFab event in Austin a few months ago, Elon laid out the path to revolutionize cloud computing and AI infrastructure, leveraging the unlimited power of the sun, targeting 100 gigawatts to 1 terawatt of AI computing power annually. And from there, we're looking at connectivity beyond our planet too. Building on the technologies used to connect people on Earth, the Starlink team is exploring using Starlink to enable high bandwidth connectivity around the moon. With a constellation of satellites designed to connect to user terminals on the lunar surface, we could relay data back to our Starlink constellation in Earth orbit. So traditionally, deep space comms have relied on radio frequency transmission. This new design would use lasers to relay data back to Earth, which can massively increase the bandwidth available to future lunar missions. We currently have thousands of lasers operating in our Starlink constellation around Earth. Deploying that technology around the moon could connect it with hundreds of terabits of capacity. Together, this could provide the connectivity backbone between the Earth and the moon and enable gigabit connectivity anywhere on the lunar surface, providing data for rovers, habitats, and astronauts, and hopefully some incredible views for us back on Earth too. So all of that adds up to a lot of satellites. But the good news is that there's still plenty of space in space. But that said, the Starlink team takes space safety extremely seriously, and we work hard to encourage best practices across the entire industry so space stays open for as many people as possible.
There are tens of thousands of known space debris in low Earth orbit right now.
I'm hearing them right now. There we go. Thank you. Okay, so while they do this, we're going to try to fix that audio sync that you guys are seeing as well. And I'm going to answer a few more questions. I did want to point out, though, that I'm really excited. The capability, once they start launching Starship regularly and actually gets to orbit, and when it actually starts deploying Starlink version 3, it'll be pretty radically different. As a Starlink user, we rely on it for our streams and use it for a lot of things on our back end. I definitely could use more bandwidth, and I know that'd be pretty massive. And that will definitely be a big game-changing thing for them. Obviously, if they do IPO, I think that is by far their most valuable asset right now, is the fact that they basically are slowly becoming the backbone of the internet, whether or not people realize it or not, and definitely the backbone of a lot of like national security stuff with Starshield and things like that. So yeah, I think that's going to be kind of their bread and butter until they get if the AI data center thing. I'm not passionate about that at all. But if it does actually free up the Earth to not have data centers on Earth, because they're noisy, they're energy intensive, they are taking up valuable land and annoying neighbors and stuff. If it can solve that, sign me up for that. Definitely sign me up for that. And if it can help reduce the cost of our utility bills here on Earth, again, sign me up. I'm all for that. So in that sense, I will be, because the reality is, like, these companies are going to be doing this stuff, no matter how much we whine and complain about it and how much it really does affect the average person's lives. So the only thing I think we can truly hope is that someone or a company makes it cheaper to do this where it's not bothering anybody in space. So as long as they're good stewards of space and don't, create Kessler syndrome, and as long as you're not creating more pollution than you're solving, by having to launch 1 million rockets per day or whatever, then yeah, I'm all for it. But solving one thing at a time, I do see the potential there. Do you see the possibility there for sure? I did want to say there's going to be a lot of comments that I'm not going to have time to get to right now, but I do just want to say thank you to everyone that has supported us. Here's another quick question that I'll get to. Did SpaceX tear down the old orbital launch mount at Pad 1 to build the flame trench, or did they build around it? So they totally tore it down so they can build the new launch mount, because the new launch mount is way beefier, way over designed. It's not just the flame bucket and the trench. It's like the whole pad infrastructure that's completely new and upgraded. So they have completely torn that out, and they are starting to build a new version of the pad. So that is pretty fantastic. Let's see. Does Starship have an abort system? Nope. No abort system. That has always been a gripe of mine, especially during the Dear Moon stuff. I certainly wanted there to be an abort system. I do think if they're flying humans, and especially if they're flying humans from the ground, I think that should be an option. Unless you have such a flight cadence and such a flight history with the vehicle. Let's say the rocket, they've flown it 200 times without incidents. Yeah, then you kind of have some statistical weight to stand on to say, we truly think we've designed this for humans, for human safety, or it's up to, human certification of safety. Sure, maybe then, but we're a little ways from that, obviously. But then again, you have to remember the ramp up of Falcon 9 went from like launching only a few times a year to eventually 10, 15, 20, 30, 50, 100, 150, like it just ramped up like crazy. We'll likely see a similar ramp up once this vehicle's solved and mature, and flying regular payloads. And yeah, who knows when that'll be? Hopefully, with any luck, we might see the first orbital launch on Flight 14 likely, and perhaps even the first ship catch and booster catch on Flight 14. That would be the coolest thing ever. So we'll have to wait and see, though. We will have to wait and see. I'm on a flight watching this through Starlink, hopefully about to watch the Starship in space through Starlink. I wonder if there's extra pressure on SpaceX to launch to the IPO and VIPs. I think so. I think there's some internal pressure of, if they're talking about, going public with their stock. I don't personally, I'd rather this moment not be the moment to push forward and get go fever. I'd want this moment to make sure to do it right. But it does feel like overall the wait for version 3 has been long enough that it does feel like they've been a little bit slower. By the way, I do want to point out, you can see the frost line growing. You can see the propellant filling up the tanks. You can see that white ring there kind of right on the lower quarter of your screen. That is progress being shown. So let's listen back into SpaceX. They're explaining a little bit of the flight profile here.
3 brand new Raptor 3 engines. We power through ascent ahead of hot stage separation. Booster shuts down all but 5 sustainer engines. Stage 2 lights its Raptor engines while still attached to Super Heavy. We get to see stage separation debuting the integrated hot stage. Directional booster flip, engine relight, and boost back using 33 engines. And after coasting for a few minutes, the booster today will target a landing burn and soft splashdown a few miles off the coast from Starbase.
Yeah, Ship does a bunch of fun things like deploying 20 Starlink simulator satellites, 2 of them Dodger Dogs, as we affectionately call them, single engine Raptor relay, and then reentry. Everybody's favorite part, lots of fun Technicolor colors that will be brought to us by Starlink. And if all of that goes as planned, we will finish the test with a flip, a landing burn, and a soft splashdown in the Indian Ocean. And actually, in just a few moments, thanks to Starlink, we'll be going live to the Indian Ocean and chatting with the ship recovery team stationed out there.
I'm so excited for that. That's going to be awesome.
So cool.
But sit tight, 'cause, first we're going to go to Dan for a quick status check.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Everything's still looking good. We are not tracking any issues technically on the vehicle or on the pad. Range status continues to be good, both the range out here in the Gulf and out in the Indian Ocean. As you can see, we have started our propellant load. That happened at about 36 minutes before T0. We're loading about 20% faster on Pad 2 than we did on Pad 1. Our flight director, Ty Huntington's back in the chair again. He was there for Starship's first flight test and 11 back for V3. He did that final go, no go at about T-minus 1 hour. We do start loading on ship first. That happened at about T-minus 37. Booster follows about 1 minute later, starting with its liquid oxygen and then its liquid methane. And then ship fuel is the last one to kick off at about T-minus 35. We're going to continue loading all of this propellant on board until about 3 minutes right before launch. 3 minutes 20 on ship, 2 minutes 50 on the booster. So we go pretty much right down to the wire. But as of this moment, still looking good. T0 set for 6:30 p.m. Central Time. Continuing to load prop, continuing to count down. All right. If you've been following along with these launches, you know we've been sending these suborbital and they splash down in the Indian Ocean. How the heck do we see some of that? Well, we have our recovery team, our Starship recovery team, and one of their primary jobs is to get those reentry views and a whole lot more. We're going to take them now. We're joining them out in the Indian Ocean. We've got Suren Sinai standing by, taking a moment from the recovery ops. He might be frozen. Let me know if you can hear me, Suren. How's everything looking out there in the ocean?
Oh, Dan, no. I can hear you loud and clear. We're sitting in about 8-foot waves, but it's looking like a clear day, ready for a ship to come on through.
All right, man. How many of these have you done? And walk us through. What's the recovery team's primary job out there?
I've done 6 and now 7 of these missions, and with every mission we've seen it evolve.
Stop.
And but our primary goal has always been to clear the range. So just like we do over in the Gulf, the same kind of happens here. We send 1 to 2 boats out and we make sure there's nothing in the area so that the rocket is clear to land. And then once we can guarantee that and have the rocket leave the pad, then we can proceed to imagery collection. So we have
All right, we'll see if we can get him back, but they're out there in the Indian Ocean. I think everyone's familiar. They've got the buoy cams. They've got the drones that are going to be going up, so we're going to be cutting back to them live once they get. They've been doing some practice stuff. We've been able to shoot some of this. So there you can see Suren getting those buoy boats. So they're basically out there. They're deploying these boats in the splashdown zone. If you get a live view from one of these boats, that tells you that we're pretty much nailing our target on that. And then Suren and a couple of our other recovery folks out there are going to be flying drones to hopefully get that imagery of Starship coming back. It's super critical for us to see just how that heat shield performed after re-entry, and just having them out there remote, just in the middle of nowhere, plays just a really critical role in just rapid iteration on Starship and its heat shield. So looking forward to hopefully seeing some views from them a little bit later. But for now, let's head back down to Kate and Jake for the latest progress at Cape Canaveral in Florida.
Thanks, Dan. Now, if we want to get to the moon and then Mars as fast as possible, there's really only one answer: launch a lot more rockets.
Yeah, to do that, we're going to need a few more launch pads and support buildings, which is exactly what we're working on over in Florida. So originally built for Apollo and then the Space Shuttle, Launch Complex 39A has flown 126 Falcon missions since SpaceX reactivated the pad in 2017.
Yeah, it's crazy that it's that many. Fun fact, I actually hosted the live webcast for our very first launch at Pad 39A, and it was so exciting to see that come back to life. It's also exciting to see how today, almost 10 years later, the ongoing construction and development that will bring a second launch tower to Launch Complex 39A. You can see it ongoing there on your screen. It's designed to expand our capabilities to support Starship launches in the future, while also continuing to support Falcon Heavy missions from the original Apollo Shuttle Falcon launch tower.
Yeah, and we're also building a Starship launch pad at Slick 37. And to support the uptick in future launches, there's Gigabay, a giant assembly and maintenance facility designed to prep Starships ahead of Florida launches. And when complete, this huge structure aims to hold 24 work cells in over 800,000 square feet of workspace. That's 24 rockets under one roof. That's absolutely crazy.
There'll be so many.
Yeah. So SpaceX's future in Florida is quickly taking shape with our very first launches on the horizon.
Yes, a horizon that aims for regular trips to the moon. Now, staying with the lunar conversation, we're going to head back up to Dan, who has Starship Vice President of Engineering, Bill Riley, our favorite webcast visitor, to talk about the moon.
That's right, Kate. Yeah, crashing the webcast again. Bill Riley, VP of Starship Engineering.
Bill.
Thanks for coming, Bill. We wanted like a couple of minutes to geek out about the moon. Like Artemis 2 just flew humans around the moon for the first time in like 50 years, more than 50 years. I personally was wildly caught up in it. I don't know how you felt about the whole thing.
Yeah, I found it really inspirational. I think part of being a spacefaring civilization is being out there exploring, and I thought Artemis 2 got us back to the moon and back exploring and being out farther than we had been before.
It's always wild when you see space stuff kind of break through into the mainstream, and like it felt like that really did it. And I mean, that's going to continue happening. We're looking at a higher cadence of missions in Artemis, and Starship's obviously going to play a pretty big role in the entire Artemis program. But like, what's kind of next on the horizon?
I think what's exciting about Artemis 3 is you'll see the landers introduced now. So maybe we're talking to NASA about doing an Earth orbit rendezvous where the Starship-based lander could be in proximity to Orion or even more. I think that's really the next step. Prove out those landers close to home in Earth orbit, and then looking ahead, going to the moon.
And we're debuting V3 now, and just some of the stuff that's now on this version of Starship is going to directly enable some of that, or it's planned to, correct?
That's right. So V3 is exciting because it really introduces it's designed to introduce all these fundamental foundational features that allow us to go out past the Earth. So for example, there's many features, but some that are visible are the docking adapters below the PEZ door that you'll notice on the as-built ship. And then as we look out past V3, there's other configurations of Starship. There is a tanker that takes the propellant to dock with the lander that will land on the moon. And think of the on-orbit propellant transfer as sort of like the gas station in the sky. And then that gas station will be what we call the depot.
And then the plan now, and the plan's been, but it's really emphasized now, we're not just going for flags and footprints, we're talking permanent infrastructure on the moon, right?
That's right. We have to build up to that capacity. So the first landers will be, a new set of boot prints to kind of start a new generation of explorers. Then we'll build into cargo landers like you see here, maybe bringing down a rover to the surface. Some infrastructure might even be staying inside the landers. And then as we look to an even brighter future, having a permanent presence in a moon base.
Yeah, I'm ready for the moon base. I need to go to the moon. That's definitely in my it sounds like a hell of a week-long vacation or one heck of a trip. But and I mean, this is the next step on making life multiplanetary, right?
Absolutely. It's literally the next planetary body we need to get to. So.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Bill. I'm going to let you jump back in there as we get ready to launch this rocket. Thanks for nerding out on the moon with me for a couple of minutes. But we're not done. We got a little bit of more cool news. Stick around. Last year, the From 2 crew made history. They were the first astronauts ever to explore Earth's polar regions from space in Dragon. I got to catch up with that mission commander from that, Chun Wang. He was visiting one of the most remote places on the planet, and he had some exciting news. Awesome to talk to you. Start me off. Where the heck are you right now?
Thank you for joining me to Fubei Island. And this isolated island in the South Atlantic. It's arguably the most remote island in the world.
It looks super isolated. You're only there with a couple of people. Kind of feels like a space mission to me. So let's just jump right in. You are going to be on the first interplanetary mission on a Starship.
So it's going to be a flyby mission of Mars. So a lot of people are talking about how Mars will be like. We're going to fly to Mars, we're going to land on Mars, we're going to build city on Mars. But let's get it started with a flyby.
Doing a flyby of Mars, that's a heck of a trip, but you're kind of built for this kind of mission, right? Because if you're not landing on the surface, you're spending a long time going out there, you're going to fly by it, it's going to be like just an insane couple of hours, and then it's a big trip back home. How are you kind of built to handle this kind of a journey?
This actually my style of spiral. I can stare at the map view on airplanes all the way from takeoff to landing. So I think I will enjoy the trip.
So it's not just the Mars flight, you're also going to be taking a trip around the moon, right? So kind of do that step before heading all the way out to Mars.
Yes, because even though it's just a flyby, it will try a lot of things that never been attempted before.
How do you kind of see these types of missions in kind of the grand scheme of everything?
It will light the fire. It will ignite imagination, and it will build the momentum. After we come back from Mars, you'll have an opportunity to take some real photos of Mars. Mars will no longer become a distant space. It will become reality.
Well, Chun, thanks for calling in from the other side of the planet.
It is.
Super cool location, super cool to talk to you, and exciting. You're going to get on Starship. You're going to go around the moon and then do the first flyby of Mars. It's insanely exciting stuff.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
Oh man,
oh my God.
Fireworks indeed. Just incredible to be one of the first humans to become an interplanetary traveler while also joining Starship's first mission to fly past the moon.
Yeah, Chun is certainly a one-of-a-kind explorer. And it's even more exciting to know everyone can join a future Starship mission.
Yeah. If what you just heard excites you, challenges you, inspires you, we'd like to hear from you. Come join our team. Be one of the people walking past us out to the lawn to watch the world's best rocket launch. Help shape the literal future of humanity. Now, we need the best and the brightest, and we need you right now.
Yeah, and we have tons of openings all across the company where we're looking for talented engineers and technicians at all of our sites, including McGregor, Texas, where we test every single one of these Raptor V3 engines behind us. Bastrop, Texas, where we build and assemble Starlink user terminals.
We also need help up in Redmond, Washington. That's Starlink's global headquarters, where, among other things, we manufacture Starlink satellites. If you like the fall weather, that might be the place for you. And as you've seen throughout today's show, there is a tremendous amount of activity happening right here at Starbase, Texas. Here and everywhere, it's all part of the incredible opportunity that we have to build the future of humanity.
Yeah, so if you're interested, visit spacex.com/careers to see these and all of our other openings.
Now, I can tell you that the crowd is certainly starting to grow. Behind us, you see the Launchpad there for yourself. Once again, this is the first flight test of Starship version 3. This will be the first time that we are debuting this booster, this ship, the Launchpad that you see there. And you can see people walking over my shoulder here as our colleagues are moving in masses to go watch this liftoff in just over 7.5 minutes from now. It's pretty exciting stuff.
It's pretty exciting, and as a reminder, we're only 1.5 miles away here. So we are very close, about as close as you can be, and we're definitely expecting to feel it.
Sorry to interrupt you, Jake. Hi. Do we have a mic? Hello, for those of you that might not know.
How are you guys?
Welcome, Nikki. It's so
Thank
nice
you.
to have you here.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh my gosh.
What
do you think the Barbs are going to say when they see you here at Starbase?
They better say all good things. But they're going to be excited, and they're probably going to want to come themselves next time.
I mean, anybody can come and watch the launches. It's super accessible to the public, so we
Nicki
welcome
Minaj
that.
just got on
Okay,
air for
Barbs,
some
come on
reason.
down, because this is a
Yep.
lot of fun.
Okay.
I'm excited. Is it about to happen at any minute?
So you see that number right there in the top left corner, 6.5 minutes.
6 minutes left?
Yes.
Oh my
Just
gosh, but
yes.
this is
fucking-
historic. This is a major moment, y'all.
Yeah.
Why?
Is this your first rocket launch that you've seen live?
Yes.
Wow.
Wow.
How do you feel?
Very, very excited.
Well, okay. Sorry, we know that the audio is
I
out of
just
sync,
noticed
by
your
the
shirt.
way,
You've
for
got
us. As much as we do want to hear from Nicki Minaj about how much she does or does not like rockets, I figure we could probably give you a little bit of extra info. Do notice that the vehicle is almost entirely filled up. You'll notice that the booster, in the other shot, actually, you can see the tanks nearly entirely full. So we're at T-minus 5 minutes and 40 seconds. Things are moving forward, and we are tracking towards a launch today, the first launch of version 3. For those of you that haven't tuned in yet, we see a lot of people coming online right now. This is this is a pretty big deal because this is a first time in like 7 months since they've launched a Starship vehicle. This is a major upgrade with the V3 vehicle. It's a little bit taller. It's a lot more powerful. It has it's been optimized. It's lighter weight. It's hopefully orbit ready. So this will be the first big test. The booster is not being caught today. They are not going orbital. This is quite very similar profile to Flight 10 and 11, where they're doing a suborbital trajectory. They're deploying some Starlink dummy satellites, 2 of which will have cameras, which is really exciting. But we are now within T-minus 5 minutes. And I'm sorry. I'm also very confused as well what Nicki Minaj had to do with anything, just in general. But I think we'll listen into SpaceX now again, which are back to regular scheduled programming.
Running underground from the propellant farm up to the vehicle. They're going to clear back. They're going to push all that propellant back into kind of the bunker area around the prop farm and just basically get the pad ready. We'll see the vehicles do their final thrust vector control checkouts. So when we snoop in, we should see the engines do kind of final wiggle checks. That's how we steer the rocket. We're going to do those at about T-minus 100 seconds, so a minute 40, and then once we pass the T-minus 40-second gate. If we do need to hold, that is still built in at T-minus 40 seconds. It's built into the countdown. We can pause if we need anything like those pushbacks to complete. If we need anything on the rocket to get ready, we can hold there. We'll only stop if we have an issue. Not currently tracking one. We have one item that might hold us up a little bit just based off of what we've seen in recent static fires, but that's typically only been hanging out for a couple of extra seconds. And then once we pass T-minus 40 seconds, a lot of things will happen in rapid succession.
Yeah, that moment is called the QD, or Quick Disconnect Vent Gate. That's when we clear all the gas commodity lines that connect the pad to the vehicles. Both the ship and the booster configure their comm systems for flight and are rapidly running leak checks on gas and fluid tanks. The booster goes to internal power and its engines get their final priming for launch, while the ship's engines begin their ascent bleed profile and arms the automatic flight safety system.
Yeah, and once we pass T-minus 40 seconds, we still have the ability to rapidly recycle the count under certain conditions back to T-minus 40 seconds and hold there to assess what happened, review the data, and decide if we can proceed again all the way down to T0. We estimate we have around 5 minutes of hold time there.
Okay, there we go.
The flame diverter on pad 2 activates at around T-minus 17 seconds, and it enters what is essentially the point of no return at T-minus 10 seconds. And there's a chance we could recycle, but the closer we get to T-minus 10, the lower that chance becomes.
All right, we are coming up on 2 minutes. We have completed propellant loading on the booster. Just shut down the fuel pump for loading onto the ship, so we're closing all of that out now. 2 minutes to go. One kind of exciting aspect to V3, we're not going to start the engines up in kind of different sets. All 33 of those Raptors going to turn on all at once. And you're going to see the booster move off the pad a whole lot quicker.
Once again, if you've just joined us, this is the first flight for version 3 of Starship. The ship, which is the upper part, the black part there at the top, the booster, which is the part below that, have been completely redesigned, as well as the launch pad that you see it sitting at, as well as the engines that power both the ship and the booster. Today's test flight is a massive step forward in our developmental program.
All right, and we're coming up here on T-minus 1 minute.
There you go.
So let's go to the pad and let the rocket do the talking as V3 fully comes alive.
Okay, so remember, at T-minus 40 seconds, it might go into a hold. Our clock is a little bit ahead, but it is synced to their web clock. So they may have gone through it. So for now, we're going to trust the SpaceX clock. That's the difference in latency between streams. Okay, they did hold.
All right, so we did hit the hold at T-minus 40. Again, this is something that is built into the timeline. Not surprising, as we are doing this first flight off of pad 2.
They can hold this for about 5 minutes.
We might already be clear. We held for a second just to make sure that the quick disconnect vents were basically ready for their final throwbacks. So we'll hang tight for a couple of seconds. I think we're about to reset, and the reset is in. Counting down, first flight of Starship V3.
Oh, but it's not going to hold.
Back to rapid recycle.
Okay, we need to. I'm going to hide our clock for right now.
Hold here for a second. Looks like we're still managing some pressures in the ship quick disconnect.
Okay, for now we
still gonna
hit
hang
our
out
clock
for a couple of seconds here at T-minus 40. Again,
Okay.
not surprising. This is new vehicle, new pad, doing all these things for the very first time. Right now we are holding, looking at some pressures in the quick disconnect, and hold reset, and we're rolling.
Here we go. I guess they're going. I'm a little bit sad. I want to see this in person, but might not be bad if it just gets off the pad and we see a great launch. So
back to rapid recycle, so we're going to hold it to
little recycle.
again.
First launch, I do expect some of these teething pains, making sure everything's go. Sensors are looking good.
Hang tight for a second. We'll see what tripped this last one.
We're still listening in here. You can see on our screen.
A reminder, we can hang out for quite a few minutes at T-minus 40 if we need the extra time. You're not actively loading propellant onto the vehicle anymore, so the main thing you're kind of keeping an eye on is all of the temperatures inside those propellant tanks.
How long has it been in a hold? Altogether about 2 minutes now. Remember, they have about 5 minutes they can hold in this, around this position as far as the commodities. They have consumables that keep the propellant chilled and topped off. And so if it goes beyond, they have about 3 more minutes to figure this out for today's launch attempt. By my understanding, about 2.5, coming up in 2.5 minutes. So we do want to see that clock moving down here rather shortly if we were to see a launch today.
We're continuing to hang out here at T-minus 40.
So they might see an issue on their screen that they're not happy with. We'll wait and see. Like I said, we have about T-minus 2 minutes and 15 seconds.
Taking a look right now
for them to figure it out.
At our diverter, so that water diverter underneath the system did trip a hold, but that basically just gives the team a the chance to look at it, see if it's something that we need to troubleshoot in data or if it's something that we can clear this hold.
And they've had this problem before with this new pad.
40 seconds.
They
Starship
don't
is super
want to.
heavy, fully loaded on the pad.
Clock's
is
ticking. We'll see.
2I-30,
They
flight directors go for launch.
Flight directors go for launch. Oh, and back to hold.
And we kick back to rapid recycle again. Again, just a reminder, set it before, new pad, new rocket, learning new things about this hardware performing in the flight environment. Taking a look at some of the sensors on the arm that manages the quick disconnect to the ship.
This might be a scrub for the day if they can't get it figured out in the next minute or so. So remember,
just trying to prolong the anticipation. Team's taking a look.
Remember, they do not want to grenade this brand new launch pad. So if the water pressure system is giving them errors,
got a couple more minutes.
you want that to be okay.
Out here. Again, it's not an unlimited time to pause at T-40. We're keeping an eye on the propellant temperatures inside the vehicles. So we've got probably about 3 minutes or so left of hold time.
Interesting. Okay. Fourth
Team's taking a look at the hold that tripped on that arm for the quick disconnect on the tower.
Yeah, he just said 5 or so minutes of hold time. We are beyond that 5 minutes officially, but that might be, he kind of said ish. So it could be, 7 minutes, 8 minutes. Just recently he said approximately 3 minutes left of commodities. I'm guessing if it doesn't go by, what would be
hold, got a couple minutes to try and clear this issue.
So, yeah, they'd likely, again, they have a pressure system that needs to flow water through the launch pad. And if that pressure doesn't show that it's going to be okay to launch the rocket, they're not going to scrub and damage the launch pad. This is a brand new launch pad that's taken, a year and a half to build. The last thing they want to do is ruin it on the first launch.
T-40, still troubleshooting this issue.
So ironically, the rocket seems to be totally ready to go. It's the
Probably
new ground pad.
A minute or a minute and a half left of hold time.
Okay. So that in total would be roughly 8 minutes. So, yeah, scrubs are better than RUDs. We always say that it's better to, delay a launch and try again another day than to launch it preemptively and do damage and potentially ruin. So we'll see. The clock has not moved yet again, so we're likely coming up here at most at 1:15 left on the hold clock, the unofficial official hold clock. Look at how cold that dome is, though, full of propellant.
Confirmed, still working through the issue.
Okay, still working the issue.
Still have a short amount of hold time still remaining.
Likely at most about 1 minute from his last call out. Like I said, I'm not going to be terribly sad if it doesn't happen to launch today, because if this happens to scrub into next week, into Tuesday, I will likely be able to be there, and I would personally prefer that versus being here in England and then tomorrow in Brussels or in Belgium. And we'll see. We'll see. I might be streaming from a totally different location tomorrow night because I'll be staying near Ghent, and I might be having to watch from a hotel like I did Flight 5. So likely coming up on 15 seconds from them having to call it a scrub would be my guess. So if we start seeing the booster vent and the ship vent excessively, that would definitely mean they're detanking for the day. So that could potentially beat their official call because they might just file that command, You start to see it, and then they would start explaining it. So keep your eyes on that. We have both views up of SpaceX. Our view is on the left is going to be actually ahead of the view on the right. So if you start to see venting from the rocket on the left, not the pad, but the actual rocket. And this big hold time, the fact that he hasn't spoken in a while probably means they're determining
still
if they're...
continuing to hold here at T minus 40. While we do that, the team's looking at temperatures of the propellant inside those tanks. We kind of check that against simulations that we've run in the past. There's some margin in those. We're still holding, no decision yet.
Like I said, they were talking about maybe doing another wet dress rehearsal, it sounded like, today anyway. So my thought was they were probably going to basically do a wet dress rehearsal.
Sounding like,
and if it all looks good.
In place.
Oh,
Hold
countdown
reset,
clock's moving.
Clock is rolling.
Launch director will say something again right now. And stop the clock.
We're back into rapid recycle.
I don't think it's going today, would be my guess. I think tomorrow would be a potential.
Back at our T minus 40 hold.
If it does not launch today.
Standing by to see what tripped us this time.
Depending on what the issue is, and depending on how much prop they chewed through doing the recycling, and how much they can get back to the site for tomorrow. Tomorrow might be an option on the table. But, man, this is just like torture. This is just painful for me and for you, I'm sure.
It is
and
sounding like we are not going to be able to clear this issue in time today. So we are going to be standing down from a launch.
Yep. Saw that coming.
So if you're just now joining us, we got the vehicle totally loaded. We hit a couple of different holds as we worked through that count. Again, new rocket, new pad. We're learning about a lot about these systems as we execute them for the first time, and we're not able to basically troubleshoot all of these issues in those final seconds to get to launch. But that essentially makes this a wet dress rehearsal. We were able to fully load the vehicles, and we're going to take the time now, figure out what tripped us up before launch, and then actually get into a flight tomorrow. We do have the ability to essentially rapidly recycle. We are expecting to be able to make another flight attempt tomorrow, but obviously stay tuned to our social media at SpaceX on X and our website, spacex.com, for updates. So no flight today. We will give it another try tomorrow.
Well, my friends, thank you again for watching with me, and I'll answer a few more questions. We definitely had some generous super chats. Let's make sure to mute that audio in case it's copyrighted music. Last thing we want is a copyright strike at this point. So there you go. Thank you. We're gonna get some questions back on the air. I just poured myself another glass of water, and I will propose a toast and pour one out for Starship Scrub. To better luck next time, all of us watching, and to the teams that are actually doing the real work. We will be watching when you are. Sorry that we do show a positive T plus clock. We're working on probably getting that out of there. Just ignore that. There we go. Yeah, you can just ignore it for now. And we will watch the rocket begin detanking. But thank you guys so much again for listening and watching with me. I know that we're going through a few issues ourselves on our stream, and I always appreciate when you guys still choose to make it through it with us. It really does mean a lot. It's been quite hard for me to be able to juggle all the things going on in the last week, including publishing 2 full-length videos, a short that I produced, also finishing and traveling over to Europe to be able to speak at this thing that I've had on my calendar for 6 months at Nerdland tomorrow in Belgium. And then the team's also operating from a brand new infrastructure and a brand new site out there at Rocket Ranch. Let's see the folks at Rocket Ranch real quick. Sadly, everyone wave to them and say better luck to all those that were trying to watch in person, including anyone else out of the, out there in Brownsville and South Padre and Port Isabel area. To all of you that were local trying to watch, sorry, that is not a fun feeling. I have been there, done that. I know the feeling, and of course, all of you watching at home that have experienced a scrub It is not fun, but it is part of the gig. But yeah, this is, I kind of expected this today. I just didn't think, the team sounded terribly confident. It sounded like there was some back and forth on whether or not they were going to try for today. So the fact that they did try, like I said, was feeling more like a wet dress rehearsal. So I will try to answer a few. I'm sorry, again, I'm not going to be able to answer all these questions because I have to get up really early tomorrow to get to Belgium. So I literally am waking up in just a few hours. So I'm going to try to log out of here soon and also be a decent guest of James and Hannah and not keep them up all night answering questions really loudly. I'll answer this one. Hey, Tim, have you or will you ever respond to Thunderfoot? He's been dunking on you and Elon for a long time. No need to respond to someone that doesn't even take the time to have an honest opinion on some of the things. Watching him try to watch Flight 5 and have absolutely zero idea what was going on just showed that he is not even educated enough to really have an opinion. And when he made a video about Starlink and how he estimated the launch cost to be $50 million, and then said that Starlink will never happen and they'll never get more than 100 satellites in orbit or whatever. Like, look at how wrong he was. That should be all the, obviously I'm generally an optimist. I generally do believe pretty much all rocket companies and their promises. I've been a huge fan of Rocket Lab and seeing them have to shift and change their plans. I've been a huge fan of Firefly and of Blue Origin and of Stoke and everyone trying to do cool things in space. I am an optimist. I like to study the engineering decisions and study the why and how of why people are doing the things they're doing. And I find joy in actually the people trying to do the things. I'm not someone that's going to sit here and go, they can't do that because I think I know better than the thousands of people working on this vehicle. Sure, you can have your gripes with a CEO if you want. That's fine. I don't agree with everything at all that of any CEO from any company or frankly with any other human, like one-on-one. But I generally am aligned on the engineering decisions that I see and the just the fact that we're seeing the world's most powerful rocket on the launch pad right now, full of fuel, getting ready to potentially be a huge paradigm shift. If you were to bet right now in 5 or 10 years, will Starship be flying and operational? If that answer is yes, then frankly, I think you have to be underestimating really where we're at if you don't think a vehicle like Starship's going to be flying and operational in 5 or 10 years. I personally think this thing should be deploying payloads. I would like to see this deploying operational payloads this year. I expect that. And the fact that they're building multiple launch pads are building infrastructure to house and service 24 vehicles at once should give you a sense that they truly are expecting this to start working that direction. Will there be teething pains? There might be some ruds, there might be some explosions. It doesn't matter when you have a factory capable of cranking out more and more and more. I just think that's what I see. I see a capability that we've never had before. I see engines that are more advanced than anything we've ever had before. I see a team of people working through an issue to try to make the most ambitious rocket ever made. And I'm excited by that. If you're not, that's fine. You don't have to be. I don't care. You can have your opinion. He's obviously welcome to his opinion. And that's really all I have to say about that. So there's probably a lot of people that have no idea what I'm talking about, and that's fine. But let's see. Do you think you'll ever be able to buy starships and use them like airplanes and merchant ships, or will SpaceX keep them for themselves? Big fan. See you in Ghent. Greetings from the Netherlands. Amazing. I'm excited. Thank you very much. I do think that SpaceX will continue to operate them. I think that business model makes sense right now. I can't necessarily imagine the operational model of someone else operating a rocket like that, but maybe, who knows? I mean, I'm also kind of surprised that it never worked that way for the airline industry, where you don't just have like Boeing Airlines, and Airbus Airlines. But I don't know. It's different, but it's also not. So Stevie Reichel Music. When will astronauts and everyday astronaut ride on Starship? 2, will AI pilot, dock, and fly? So you don't necessarily need AI to pilot and dock. We've been doing autonomous flight for a long time without the use of AI. And first of all, thank you so much for your extremely generous donation. I don't necessarily think we need AI for that, but we are working towards more and more intelligent flight models. And Starship is entirely autonomous. Dragon's more or less entirely autonomous. The flight crew has the ability to override it and do some manual flight, but for the most part, it's entirely autonomous. Just like when an airplane flies, it's not you can have a full takeoff and full autonomous landing without AI. I think we kind of use that word. It can be a misnomer sometimes, but when will astronauts and everyday astronaut ride the Starship? Fool me once that I don't see that happening anytime soon for me. The fact I wish I would have been able to react to Choon's announcement a little bit more live, because that is it's not that surprising. He's the first human to ever fly over the poles with his crew with From 2. Got to hang out with him at Astro Awards this year. It was awesome. But oh man, him wanting to fly a mission around the moon and then a mission around Mars is crazy. Just doing a flyby of Mars is crazy. I don't know. We'll have to see if that's ever truly a possibility. Again, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times, back to shame on you. But I don't know. We'll see. I do believe that there's nothing physically impossible. Once you can do one docking and one refilling operation, the rest becomes pretty much arbitrary. And I do foresee that happening in the next, in the next year and a half, hopefully. We will see, though. Let me just, we had another really big one from Cal Fires. Chris, thank you so much. You've generated before, donated before. Thank you so much, Cal Fires. Sincerely, it really does help a lot. And am I an AI? Scrubs happen, folks. Wish me well. My son's about to be born. Wow, we are go for launch on David Scott Gerard, and failure is not an option. You're darn right. Hey, everyone in chat right now, say congratulations and welcome to this world soon, David Scott Gerard. That is fantastic. Thank you for watching this close to my friend just had a baby literally yesterday. So congratulations also to Neil and Courtney on baby number 3. But that's crazy. Thank you so much. How big is this compared to the Saturn V? So it's taller. The Saturn V is 106 meters tall. This is over 120. It's like 121 meters tall, almost 122 meters tall now. It's 9 meters wide versus the Saturn V being 10 at the base and tapering 10 meters wide at the base, tapered to 7, and then up to basically 5 or 4 or 3 point. Yeah, basically 4 at the top, the command module and service module. So this is, and it's over twice as heavy and over about 2.5 times the thrust. So it's getting ridiculous. It's getting truly beyond anything that's been built before, including the N1 and everything too. And again, from AI, thank you so much. MINAI, sorry. And Great Jacobson 10, great coverage as always. Thank you, Great Jacobson. And last one I'm going to answer tonight. I'm so sorry that I really missed a lot of these, and I'm going to just so thanks, Tim, for maintaining high quality streams. For some reason, my YouTube notifications aren't working. I have to manually search your streams. If that's happening to you, just try quickly unsubscribing and resubscribing right now in your app and then hitting the bell icon. I had a lot of people say they didn't see my newest video because they missed the notification. Just give it a refresh, and maybe go into your system settings on your phone and make sure that notifications are still on for YouTube as well. Give it a go. That tends to help, and it helps me as well to keep you guys informed and stay in touch. But lastly, to wrap this all up, Jerry Berry 6032 Nerdland Festival watch party tomorrow. So this would be happening after my talk. My talk is at 8:30, I believe. So I will be, if it is attempting to launch tomorrow, I will have to rush out of Nerdland and find a quiet place to be able to stream. Maybe if someone has a better idea, like a studio I can borrow or a high-speed internet near there, hit me up, please, and let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to be streaming from a hotel. So, and our team will still be there on base. Maybe we'll show Spencer if you want to pull up your camera at all and wave to everybody. Spencer, you're still there tomorrow. Is that correct? That's an option for you. Give us a thumbs up if you are. Yeah. Okay. So Spencer will still be there. Cool. Basically, one-man band running this entire show like he did today. I would say thank you, Spencer, because that is a huge job. It's normally 3 people plus. Ryan was there to control a camera, but running the show inside the truck was just Spencer today. So thank you for your grace again, because he has been working really hard and having to wear all of the hats today. So I'm going to get out of here so I can get to bed and catch my flight tomorrow to Belgium. we're gonna set that up, and yeah, it's we'll see. Stay tuned to SpaceX's media, social media. I will also try to keep my social media up to date as well as I can. But we'll see. You know, I don't know if tomorrow will be an option. If they have to fix stuff on the pad, or if they have something that they aren't happy with, they might need to do. They might look to do more testing. Maybe today they realized, oh shoot, we just still don't quite have this thing dialed in, and maybe they will have to do, you know, some more testing, and maybe this thing doesn't fly until next week. I'm not sure right now, but we will have to wait and see. Like I said, they cannot fly this weekend because it is a holiday weekend. They normally have the option of flying on a few weekends, thanks to kind of an agreement they have with the county. However, holiday weekends, and specifically Memorial, Labor Day, and I don't remember if there's another one that is specific that they cannot launch during specific holiday weekends. And Memorial Day is one of them, a U.S. holiday. And so, yeah, that's, I don't know. We'll have to see. Yeah. So we'll have to wait and see. Like I said, Tuesday would probably be the next option, but we'll look for the NOTAMs and the notices to see if they are options. So the fact that I cut off Nicki Minaj makes me a leftist hack. I noticed. Thank you. No, I saw that a lot of people were asking, why are we listening to her talk? And I normally move on from things that aren't exactly topical from the discussion, which is why we normally kind of skip past, like when a provider has a little video about, you know, something unrelated, we normally move on. And that was obviously the same type of thing. The same type of thing exactly that we were talking about. So that's why we moved on. It has nothing to do with politics. I actually have no idea what you're even talking about. Why would that have anything to do with politics? Maybe I'm ignorant, but to me, that's okay. I'm here to talk about rockets. We're all here to talk about rockets and then hopefully enjoy a rocket launch that hopefully will happen tomorrow. So Elon did tweet recently, the hydraulic pin holding the tower arm in place did not retract. If that can be fixed tonight, there will be another launch attempt tomorrow at the same time, 5:30 p.m. Central Time. So join us again. So we will see them, hopefully, maybe try again tomorrow. So join us for that. That's going to do it for me, everybody. Man, yeah, wish me luck on all the rest of my travels and all of the commitments that I have in the next few days. And maybe we'll see you guys tomorrow. So that's going to do it for me. I'm Tim Dodd, the Everyday Astronaut, bringing space down to Earth for everyday people. Goodbye, everybody.